Welcome to Sitting Up in My Room, where we touch on transformation, beauty, becoming, and much more. I got my little cheat sheet here because I can probably get off topic really fast. But this is a space where we talk about real life, real growth, and who you're becoming in the process. So today, we're talking about what becoming really looks like. Number one, becoming isn't pretty. It's like a lot of us expect that when we're becoming, it's supposed to look polished, that it's supposed to just align. And that's not the case. You have to really give yourself grace when it comes to becoming. You have to get uncomfortable. The first thing I think I did when I realized I wanted to become the woman that God really created me to be, I had this feeling that I knew there was something so much greater and so much more that He had for me. But I had to get uncomfortable even to just begin. So I remember I became uncomfortable and I knew I wanted to attend church again. So I found a church home. I got baptized and I just grew my relationship with God. The more I grew my relationship with God, the more my confidence grew, the more I became unfearful. I wouldn't say fear isn't there, but I now do the things I've always wanted to do and getting uncomfortable in what I'm used to and seeing where that goes, because you never know if you don't step out of your comfort zone. So I've always had a list of things that I've wanted to accomplish, and even just digging back, side note, digging back into your bag of you growing up, your childhood, your inner child, what fuels your inner child, going back to those things. Writing was my thing growing up, teenage years, so I wrote a children's book. I put out a journal. Just things that get uncomfortable. Now, will everything land? Will everything you do stick? We don't know. But becoming is about getting uncomfortable because it stretches you. Now, had I never wrote my children's book, would I know the limits I could go? Do I know how my voice has an impact on people? Do I know what rooms God will put this book in, whose hands He will place it in? No, I don't. But it had to get me to being in that uncomfortable space, like people know, reading what I have to say, possibly people judging, all the things. But get uncomfortable. I started also, there was a podcast, I can't remember the podcast, but the guy mentioned that he would go around to different places and just ask for things. And he said, you never know how many yeses you will get. And so he made it out of a game. And if you get yes, great. If you get no, keep going. But I started to really take that into account. Like, okay, you never know what impact whatever you have may have on someone, because your gifts, people are waiting for them. It's helped them get to their next level. So I try to keep those things in mind and get uncomfortable. It's not always going to be easy, but just knowing that I stepped out of that space to do something that makes me uncomfortable is scary as crap. But I try to also remind myself to do it afraid. Becoming asks you to let go of versions of yourself you thought you'd always be. So I remember I had posted this TikTok, and my daughter graduated last year from high school, and I always had this version of myself that once my daughter graduated, me and my husband would live our life, with being empty nesters. Well, my life looked different because I'm not married, I'm not in a relationship, it's just me and my puppy. So at first I had this, this whole vision of what that version of being an empty nester looked like, that I felt like, how do I put it? Not that I was behind, but more so I didn't reach that goal, right? So not saying that it's not gonna happen. It's just I had to let go of that version of myself so I can get to where I need to be. I'm a single woman. What does my singleness look like? It's me and God. It's me and what I love to do. It's me dating myself. It's me getting back into hobbies and things that I've never done before. So there's just certain versions you do have to let go of. A version of me being in the clubs, I had to let go of, because that is not the woman I inspire to be. That's not who God inspired me to be, and those days are behind me. What was another one? The club, the drinking. I no longer drink alcohol. It's been 2 years. In February, I hit 2 years. And it was just a decision I made based on my health and based on, I no longer wanted to be the version of myself I became when I was drinking alcohol. And I was a social drinker. I think I mentioned that in one of my other videos. Social drinker, which was fine. But the limits that I would drink while I was out socially wasn't okay. So, certain versions of me being a 5 a.m. workout woman, that's not my ministry. Stick to where you are. And that's okay. I work out best in the evening, which is great. But it's just versions that I think society has you stuck at. That to be a millionaire, you have to be at the gym at 4 a.m. You have to do this, you have to do that. I'm not a millionaire yet. Maybe that's why I'm not a millionaire. We don't know. But God has my life, and it's all planned out. I just have to follow it. So, letting go of certain versions of yourself that no longer fit who you're trying to become. The version of my life is she's in her era where she's loving herself. The people she connect with, they align in a way that God has for us to complete whatever mission we come together and complete. And so, yeah. And then you have to be honest. It is tough to let certain things go. You know that saying, I've always been this way. I'm never going to change. This is just what I do. I've never said that because I always have a growth mindset, an evolving mindset. But there's certain things where let's say, like if I was to say, I always work out at night. I'm never going to work out during the day. Well, I would never say never, because there has been times I've made it to a cycling bar at 6 a.m. But that's not my ministry. That's just what has happened. And I'm okay with that. But it's like, that was a bad example because I was talking about the toughness of letting things go. That's why I said this ain't perfection. This is the way when it's tough to let certain things go. Example, the club. It wasn't tough to let it go on my end, but it was tough for people around me to understand that version of me no longer exists. So they would still try to invite me out. I would still try to go. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to be there. It's not my scene. But I would go to people please. And I eventually got to the point where, no, it's tough to let people know that's not what I want to do anymore. If it does not align with the woman that I am becoming, I don't do it. And it's tough for people to hear that. It's tough for you to say it sometimes because some people can't see past you just saying no. Like, oh, she don't want to hang with me. No, we can go hang at the coffee shop. We can go hang at the lake. I don't want to hang at the clubs or the bars. You know, it's just something like that. Number 2, outgrowing the old you. So I kind of touched a little bit, but this is going to go a little bit further. You start noticing that things just don't fit into your life anymore. Rather, it's conversations, environments, even certain habits. You know when you want to remove those things just because it doesn't sit in your spirit well anymore. And that's why I was saying when I go to the clubs or the bars, it doesn't sit in my spirit anymore. You're going to know when those things no longer sit in your spirit. There's certain conversations I don't want to have anymore. There's certain things you realize, like, you used to spend your time talking about. And at the end of the day, what did that do for you? Certain environments, like I touched on, the clubs, the certain things, whatever it may be that is the old you, you may have to let that go. For example, if you're trying to get on a weight loss journey and get into exercising, should you be accepted every invite to go out to eat? No. Let that old you die off. The old you has to die daily in order to grow into becoming the woman you want to be, the woman God wants you to be. Certain habits you have to let go. Now, you know there's power in your tongue, so what you say can come to fruition. So if you get off work, I was good for this on Fridays. I already set up in my head before I left work, I'm going to go home, grab some snacks, sit on the couch, watch TV. Okay. What is that doing? I'm eating all the unhealthy things. I'm watching TV. Not saying it's bad if you watch TV, but for me, there's certain things that I could be doing that's supposed to get me closer to becoming the woman I am supposed to be, versus me sitting down watching TV, binge watching some shows. Which is fine. It's outgrowing just doing it excessively, which I don't do it excessively, but every Friday do I have to do that? No. It's just letting go certain habits. Also, I was in the book Atomic Habits. Read that book if you haven't read it. There's a section in the book that talks about your habits, and if you do watch TV, say you want to be a workout girly, you watch TV, and instead of just watching TV, have some dumbbells by you. Do some jump roping. Make watching TV a reward. So as you're watching this TV show, I'm also doing some leg raises. I don't know, running in place, doing some burpees. Something that gets you into the habit of doing while you're doing something to just, kill some time. Number 3, feeling in between. So becoming feels like you're in the middle. You don't know, you're not who you used to be, but you're not who you fully are becoming yet. So that in between space is that space that's just, it's confusing. I don't know what to do. I'm going to go back to the example of the club. I'm in between losing and dying off the old me and becoming who I want to become. But now I'm in that in between space because people are still inviting me to the club. Even though I said it's not my space anymore, I'm still in that in between space of people inviting me out. So now it's confusing because do I say yes or do I say no? Do I go back to the old me or do I continue to walk in the path of the new me? Now, that in between space, it's necessary just because you have to trust the process and keep going. If I always revert back to the old me and people please, I'm not going to be able to become the new version of myself. Because I know for a fact the new version of myself is not in the club. Dressing a certain way, drinking, having hangovers the next day. That's not who she is. That's not who I am. That I see for the future me of who I'm still becoming. When you think about becoming, it's your version of yourself that you dream to be, that you feel to be, that God has downloaded into you, your intuition, your discernment, and just speaking, manifesting what it is and who it is that you want to become. Once you find out who you want to become, it becomes a little easier to decipher the things you're going to do to become her. Will you fall short? Yes. Can you keep going? Yes. That is the thing. One foot in front of the other. Give yourself grace. Now, don't beat yourself up. You saying you don't want to drink, and now you didn't have a drink yesterday, and now I'm so stupid. I done had a drink. I just messed up. Don't do that, because now you're talking down on yourself. Give yourself grace. Pick it up tomorrow until you can get it into a habit. I really started, the smallest habit that you can get into is making your bed every day. And I would get out of bed, make my bed every day. You do something that becomes a habit, a routine, and then you go on to the next thing. They say 21 days to make a habit, and 60 to stick to it or something. It's true. Small daily steps will create larger impacts. So do small things. You want to eat healthy? Cut out a bag of chips. Don't go out and grab fast food. It's those small things. People think when you're trying to become the new version of you, it has to be grand. Oh, I'm becoming a new version. Now I got to stop this. You don't. Start small. You want to become a reader? Read a chapter a night. 10 pages a day. That's all it takes, is a small habit that will become a larger one. So I hope that helped. Becoming again isn't pretty. There's a lot of the times we don't talk about the times where you may feel like you're beating yourself up for something you didn't accomplish. You may shed tears, shedding your old self, and those things. It's emotional. It's this and that. Feel it, but don't stay there. But it's definitely necessary. And just because it feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it's not working. Getting uncomfortable is going to broaden and open up so many more doors and in ways for you, and just stepping into further becoming who you want to be. And so if this spoke to you, just know you're not behind, you're not lost. You are becoming. And that version of you, she's already proud. So check up on a loved one, tell somebody you love them, pay it forward, smile at somebody. You never know what people are dealing with. People deal with silent battles every day. So be a positive light, spread positivity, and you know what it is. Live, love, laugh. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.